Okay, I don't understand the underwear. Hey YouTubers, Becky here, rolling with the Davises. First part of today's video is going to be about George Johnston. George was a member of the Tlingit First Nations people of Western Canada. He was a self-taught photographer and entrepreneur. This doesn't sound too remarkable till you realize that he lived from 1884 to 1972. George grew up in an area where there were no roads till the Alaska Highway came through in the early 1940s. By that time, he had taught himself photography and was well into his entrepreneurial ways. Through his photography, he documented the life of the Tlingit people. Not only did he take the photographs, he learned to develop them. But perhaps George's greatest claim to fame is his 1928 Chevrolet that he bought in Whitehorse and had brought in across the lake. George and his buddies cut a path through the woods, which eventually ended up being up to 5 kilometers long, and for $2 you could ride in George's 1928 Chevrolet. The funniest part about the car is that he used it out on the frozen lake for hunting and trapping. In the wintertime, he would hand paint it white, then come spring, he'd paint it back to a dark color. When the Chevrolet dealership in Whitehorse went to restore the car for the museum, they found over 40 coats of paint that had to be removed for restoration. One year they left the car too long on the lake and had to wait for breakup and go out and bring it back in on a barge with boats. The George Johnston Museum has a nice collection of artifacts depicting the life of the Tlingit people. Also on the grounds of the museum is the Air Radio Building. This is an original structure that was used for the ground-to-air communication on the Northwest staging route. Within the building is a lot of communication equipment and an explanation of how they use that equipment on what I'm going to call a grid system. I'm not 100% sure that's correct, but the tech was way over my head anyway, but it was interesting to read about it while we were there. Also within this building, they talk a lot more about the Alaska Highway, back then known as the Alcan, how it was built in the area, how it affected the people, and what was left behind when the troops moved out. Watson Lake, Yukon, the world famous signpost forest.
Good afternoon. We're here in Watson Lake, British Columbia.
No, we're in the Yukon still.
Okay, Watson Lake, Yukon. This is where everybody comes and hangs their sign, I guess you'd say.
It's called the signpost forest. It was started at the time that the Alaska Highway was built. Homesick soldier that was up here working on the highway put up a sign with the distance to his home, and the rest is history. Yeah. So it was started in 1942.
So there's what, 2 acres here now, you say?
Yep, they say it's up to 2 acres.
It's quite a lot of signs. I've heard people up here hammering them on. So actually, you can get a sign made here in town, didn't you say?
Well, you can go to the visitor center and they'll give you paper and marker and you can make your own sign and put it up. We're probably just going to put a sticker. We didn't think to bring a sign or make a sign, but we're just here to look. This is pretty amazing. We've got license plates. We've got printed signs. I've seen signs that look like they might have come from a municipality. We've got advertisements. This one says Rebecca Dana. You can buy those letters in the hobby store. We could have done that and made our own. Let me know below if you see your hometown. It just goes on and on. So here at the signpost forest, they have some equipment that was used to build the highway. The shovel, another one over there. And here is, have you determined what it is, Dave?
What's that?
Have you determined what it is?
This is a D8, it's a 1943.
Caterpillar?
Caterpillar D8,
Okay.
cable blade.
And since
Used
we were
in the construction of the Alaska Highway, donated by William Story and family.
Okay, since we were in the construction business, Dave has decided this is where at least one of our stickers needs to go.
I've run D8s, but this is a little older. Oh.
Don't hurt yourself. Hold on, let me get there.
We're gonna stick it right here, right on the back of the block. There's an empty space, and we'll be kind of protected out of the weather.
It's a little crooked, but that's okay.
There we go.
Little red's crawling over a rock there.
There we go.
Okay. Tag us if you find it. You know, it doesn't look that big from the road or even from the parking lot that we parked at behind here, but then when you get to walking through, I can see where it's 2 acres. This is what you see from the Alaska highways as you come through town. And as you can see, it really doesn't look that big until you really start walking around. Okay, the closest sign we've found to home is this one from York, Pennsylvania. So the guy that actually got this started, there was just a U.S. Army directional post here. He was assigned to repair it after he got injured. I guess that's it there. He added his hometown of Danville, Illinois to the signpost, and that's what got all this started. He returned here in 1992 for the 50th anniversary. I think I found a spot. I got a white spot right here at the back of somebody else's sign. I'm gonna stick one right here. Get a little wipe. Let's see what that sign says. It's a sign about signs. That's perfect. A sign about signs. See if I can get mine a little bit straighter up than Dave did. He had a little red running sideways. I will admit I've done that before too. Actually, I had to pull a sticker off somewhere because I put it up so crooked. Here we go. Little red at the signpost forest, number 2. There it is. Okay, I don't understand the underwear. I guess if you don't have anything else, you do underwear. You want to put your underwear out somewhere? You want to put your underwear out somewhere?
I've seen some panties.
We got some granny panties up there. There's a toilet seat?
Right there by the big panties.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
From Wisconsin, the Rhines.
Fishing lure, vinyl siding, homemade wind chime. Oh, here's another. We've seen several of these baking sheets, baking pans. There's a cookie pie pan. There's your RV. I usually have a pretty good sense of direction, but I'm going to tell you, I got lost in here, and it took me a few minutes to find my bearings and figure out where the highway was and where we were parked. So we are parked on this lot. I want to say it's going to be called behind the signpost forest. You can see that semi up there that just went by. He's on the highway. This lot over here would be to the north. Says no overnight camping or parking. But we have not seen any signs to that effect on here, over on this side, on the south lot. And I've seen on the internet that you could park here. I know if it's on the internet, it's got to be true, but it is not signed, so I think we're safe to stay here. We did walk across the Alaska Highway to the visitor center. This is the replica that was put up in 1992. The original sign rotted away. Here's some statistics. As of last September, there was 120,000 signs. We did find a sign and a sticker for other YouTubers that we follow. Being as it was Friday night, we found beer and pizza at the Alaska Highway Truckers Pub and Grill. We are at Muncho Lake. I think it's Muncho Lake, British Columbia is the name of the closest town. Absolutely beautiful bluish green water. When we came through on the way to Alaska, there was a lot of swans out here. They have since migrated on. Oh, we got a boat out there. It's one thing I'm really surprised we don't see as much boating up here as I thought we would. Saturday afternoon, got a boat on the water. I'd love to put the kayaks in, but not gonna happen. And just look how clear the water is here. You can see, I don't know if that's gonna show. Boy, you can see way deep into there. Be nice to see a fish, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Just beautiful. We passed through this area of the Alaska Highway the last week of May on our way to Alaska, and these fires had not happened yet. We talked to some people in Alaska that came up behind us, and they had some rather long delays getting through this section of the highway. As you can see here, there's still smoke. There's still some active burns happening on July 12th as we came back through Canada. We have made it back to Dawson Creek from Alaska, and we just couldn't pass through without coming back up and looking at the Kiskatinaw curved bridge. So we left the RV in Dawson Creek and brought the Jeep up. 2 years ago when the milepost was up here surveying everything, you could still drive across this, but they have closed it off since then. But you can still come on down and walk across it. Right. So it was the first curved bridge ever built in Canada. I keep wanting to say Alaska, but it's Canada, and it is the last one that you could still drive across. Well, no, that's wrong. It's the last wooden bridge on the Alaska Highway that you could still drive across. There are still curved bridges in Canada, but this is the last one on the Alaska Highway that you could still drive across.
Right. That was just one of the original wooden bridges?
Yes. It's one of the original wooden bridges when they built the Alcan in 1942.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Neat looking underneath. We're going to walk down below there.
Yeah. We're going to take a walk across. The bridge definitely has a lean to the right. I guess it was a drainage thing because the road leans the same way.
Yeah, well, they got plenty of drain holes cut in the wood here on the right side.
And there's like some pretty heavy timbers under our feet here. It's a beautiful canyon. We came across the new bridge on the way to Dawson Creek. You cannot see down the creek from there to see this. The canyon winds too much. Curves too much for you to see the other bridge. All right, we've come down the path a little ways down under the bridge, probably about as far as we're going to go. You see the structure, all these big bolts.
Heavy steel plates.
Heavy steel plates, yep. Although I would think they might be a little heavier. That surprises me, especially wood on the other ones. Well, yeah, there are some heavier plates there. So you can see the curvature of the bridge. It's funny, the road curves, horseshoes one direction, the bridge horseshoes the other, and then the road curves out and horseshoes again. I know they were building this in a hurry in 1942. This bridge was actually contracted out, was not built by the U.S. military. I guess that's Dawson Creek down there? No, I don't know. It's Kiskatinaw River. That's what it is. That's why it's the Kiskatinaw River Bridge. So this is part of the original alignment of the Alaska Highway. Back then it was known as the Alaska Canada or the Alcan. Some of the original alignments, when they've been replaced, they've just been abandoned, but there's homes back here. There's also a provincial park, and of course that bridge that we just looked at. So this is a section that's been preserved.
All right, everybody, we made it up and back on the Alaska Highway. 1,420 some miles. Fun road. Beautiful scenery.
Lots of wildlife.
Yeah, lots of wildlife. Yesterday we seen 8 bears, mama moose and 2 baby moose today.
And a mule deer with 2 little ones.
Yep. So quite a few bears. We did see somewhere along the line, seen some elk, something else on the way up and back.
headed east. See what we can find in some other parts of Canada before we head home.
Yeah, we're headed down to Banff.
Maybe. We're gonna think about it. We're gonna look.
Yeah,
we're gonna see if there's camping and that kind of stuff. I think you're gonna be really busy, so we're gonna see.
See what we're gonna get into. But anyway, we made it. No worse for wear. Love the highway. That's just something I've always wanted to do. Alrighty. Thanks for coming with us. And as always, let's keep rolling.